Hello, Bame Farm fans. We're going to take a little look at some of the casualties of hay season so far. We see this lovely curvy piece here. That's not supposed to be that bent. It's supposed to be sort of straight-ish. That hides up inside the baler. And, well, there's the wheel. I feel like it should be attached right there. Yeah, that's a reason why Nick should be one of the casualties of hay season too. But we'll start with this bar. We'll come here into the darkness. That bar is supposed to go right here, which I already have a new one, I already have it replaced. I've gotten really good at this bar. This bar goes between the feeder forks that send hay over into the chamber. Last year, this piece cracked, and this fell out, and, well, we were lucky to get it welded up quick, same day. And then again this year, it broke and fell out again, and we got it straightened and re-welded and put back in. And then the next day, we found a stick that knocked it loose and broke it again, so I finally decided to get a new one. But you have to pull this end of the hay forks up, so you gotta take this rail out. It's easier than taking that rail. To pull this one, gotta take this cover off and this track out, and then you gotta turn the baler over to get this end of the forks up here, to which it'll slide out and lift high enough to then slide this pipe piece in from the end and over on top of the plunger. Now that end just has a slot that it sits in. There is no bolts or nothing. There's more story behind that stick. There is some story behind that stick that we ate. Now, around here the ash are dying, and when I mowed the field where the stick was, I spent a lot of time picking up ash bits from around the edge. Except this stick we found was oak. It was actually a very live piece of oak. Like, it wasn't dead. When the ash dies, and of course they've been dead for years, they're very, oh, they lose all their branches, we'll say. And we gotta get that tape off of there when we put the wheel on, because the wheel doesn't have an inner race, it just rolls on this rod. So we really gotta get that cleaned up better. But the branch was out in the middle of the field, and I would have definitely known it going through the mower, because the branch, the base was that big around, and it was a very three-dimensional branch. It wasn't just a stick. So I would have known it going through the mower. There's no way I would have mown over it. Nick tedded the field. Nick raked the field. So he should have seen it, hopefully making 2 passes. Or he just went over it and didn't even bother to move it. Or I'm also thinking, I mean, when I mowed the field, I mowed, if I try to get everything, doesn't mean we have to necessarily rake it and bale it all around the edge, like if it's under a tree. So it probably got bushwhacked and caught the branch on the roll bar, and eventually it fell off in the middle of the field and got raked up in the middle of the windrow. So that's mildly annoying. Let's see, this was also a nick. Trying to cross a driveway with a culvert to kind of get between sections of a field, and all I had to do was put it in transport so it was off the ground, but no, it wouldn't get off. And that was, I watched that happen from afar. I was raking hay, and I was raking hay like at the end of that video where we show off the tedder. And so I was just across the way, and I watched that happen. Like, all you had to do, so what, you kill 5 minutes to get off the seat to put it in transport. And instead of, you know, this shot, however many hours of going to a dealer, putting it on, and also the near $200 for it. That's gonna take a few hay bales to pay for. Now we're gonna find out, I'm probably gonna need some shims for the backside, which I don't have. But we can pull this out. I left this in just for keeping everything together. It's just like some really long needle bearings in there. Hopefully, now there's a piece of hay we want to get out of there. Tried to keep this clean. Oh man, there is nothing pretty about this. We're gonna grease it good. Hope it turns slow. And at least put one shim on the back side, if not both of these. Let's see what it looks like when we put it on. I'm sure we lost the one that was at the base. I don't know if we need one. Oh man, that is a big... There was a lot of gap there. We got a lot of room to fill up. I don't know if we have enough shims. Hopefully we didn't bend too much up here. The pickup still works. But this wheel definitely looks like it's a little out. Ugh. What a joy. So yeah, he was trying to cross a culvert with this down and caught it and in slow motion. So he knew it was going to be close. He was halfway paying attention, but could have just got off, put it in transport. That's annoying. And I gotta find some more shims, but let's go see, we're close enough to having that fixed. Let's go see the other problem of hay season. Well, that's not supposed to happen. I broke the wind guard. Not bailing though. You can see it's already been welded in one spot before. But no, I was up underneath the baler here, laying on it, cutting net wrap off the, I don't know if you can see the rollers up here. It got wrapped on this roller because I didn't redirect it when I started the field. Sometimes when you know, when I get to the field, this is blown around and I always have to get off and make sure that it's hanging down. Well, it had managed to wrap itself on a roller and I was up here laying on it, and apparently I'm fat enough to bend and break it, and of course every hole makes a weak spot, so just gotta quick weld that up. That's no big deal. Still gotta find these shims. I've procured some options. Oh, that's backwards. We'll pull it off. Now, I don't know whether... Do we want more space or less space? Now, it's not like we gotta worry about mud clearing. The wheel is not too bent, but there is plenty of space to use up out here. And I have a selection of shims, but we're gonna need something thick, at least one of these. That could be enough. I thought I may need something bigger like that, but there's not that much space to eat up. I thought there'd be more, but maybe not. So I lost one or two shims. Obviously it's not going to be super tight. There's going to be a little bit of play in there. And now maybe I should get a new one, but we're going to try to reuse the one we got here. It's not overly bent. Sometimes when these cotter pins are well bent, like all the way back, sometimes that's when I worry about getting a new one. We have a nice selection of these in the garage if we do need them. It may, if I could have guessed the proper size, it may have been quicker than trying to get this one out. It's fairly slow speed. I don't think we're going to worry about losing the wheel. We're going to stick it from the front heading towards the back, such that anything moving by will push the pin farther in, and we'll give it a little bend so it doesn't fall out. I could maybe squeeze, but I've got these two thick ones. I don't know, I guess I'm not the most worried about it. I can't remember what it was before, but it'll be nice to have the wheel there. And most likely it'll always be pushing its way out, so we won't need too many on the back side. Mainly just for dust control, so we'll keep it pumped full of grease, and I think we're gonna call that pretty close, because it's at least we have a wheel there. Oh, that's now an expensive piece of scrap metal. The only other thing I have to do is reset this bolt. I adjusted it to run without the wheel, which most of the time was mostly okay, sort of, except for when the field wasn't the most level. New pack of shear bolts. I forget which wrenches, but luckily this baler came stocked with some wrenches in it to make most of the adjustments and little repairs. I can see where the hole was. That's good. I can put it right back where it was. Now we'll do a little better job picking up hay because we can follow the contour of the ground better. However, the old International baler didn't have a wheel. It was fixed settings on the side of the baler. Our only issue there was the width of the pickup, not whether it was too close to the ground or not. Okay, I guess that's fixed enough, throw a little grease in it, and we're ready to put some string around some dry grass.